Alright, we got BLRX gapping up. I'm not too much of a fan of BLRX. There's just so much resistance above it. You're going to have resistance at 250, 260, 275. There's resistance like every 10 cents. And the float is a little bit on the higher side at 20 million. So the lower the float, the better. Just remember, the lower the float, the bigger the rip. So BLRX, not too much of a fan of. I'm pretty much going to write this one off. I'm not interested. We got EQ gapping up. If it can get back above 7.50, up near towards that $8, I'll be interested in this. Let's see what the float is on EQ. 13 million. And let's see the news on EQ. So it soars on US FDA nod to start COVID-19 drug late stage trials. Alright, we got a lot of people entering in. Yep, I'm streaming on YouTube also. I'm also streaming on Discord as well. I'm gonna try out both today. But EQ is in the healthcare sector. These pharmaceuticals love to pop off. I would never swing a pharmaceutical stock. These pharmaceutical stocks are so just money hungry, and that's when you'll wake up the next day and they'll do an offering or something. But one thing that I like to try to do also, let me bring it up. Is look at the SEC filings to see if there's any warrants that they have, any active shelves. So we could see here with EQ, they have one warrant that they can exercise. They have 80,000 shares at 373, and they have a couple active shelves. Public offering type right here. At the market offering in progress and a public offering in progress. One's worth 150 million shares. The other one's 35 million shares. So these are the surprises that you could get with these pharmaceutical stocks right here. And they have active registration statements. One right here with an expiration of September 17th of 2021. Remaining value that they have right here. This is how many they had. They had 85 million. They only have 20 million left. This one was completed. And then they have a secondary offering worth 5 million. So there's a lot of active shelves for EQ. So just keep that in mind. And then BLRX, let's see what's up with this. Look at how many warrants that these guys have right here. That's a lot of warrants. One worth 77,000, 37,000, 3,000, 1,000, 77,000. All those active warrants that they can exercise. And then all of these active shelves that they have. Look at all those. One's worth 8.5 million, 9 million, 4 million. It's a lot of active shelves. So this website is called Flash SEC. You got to pay for it monthly, but this is a lifesaver right here. This is what, consider this a tool that saves you money, and it saves you time through looking through all those SEC filings, when all I got to do is simply come up to the top search for the company, and it tells me everything I need right here. Saves me so much time. So I try to look at this before I even trade a company. It's just stuff to keep in mind. And then I'm looking at SRRK, of course, as well. SRRK has been really good to me this week, making almost $15,000 on SRRK this week alone. Just a wild move. Look at this. From 14 all the way up to $46. Past 3 days that this stock has been in play. Yesterday it started to look like SRRK was going to break down, but it just went range bound from 40.50 up to 44.50. That's a $4 range on a stock. That's awesome. These are the types of stocks that I like to play, stocks that have range. I'm not trying to play stocks that have a range of 25 cents. You really got to load up on shares to make a good profit on it. When you have a stock like SRRK, yeah, it's a higher priced stock, but it's moving $4. All you really need to do is you buy a couple hundred shares, the stock moves $2. That's $200 to $400. But I also got trade ideas up and going for you guys. We got the beast mode, which is the momentum scanner. We got the multi-strategy window, the VWAP and Fibonacci scanner, and then the top percentage gainers and the top percentage losers. This one right here on the top right, that tells me the percentage of how many stocks in the market are green and how many are, what's the percentage that are red. So I always try to get a general idea of the overall market sentiment. There, that's a bit better. I'll go with that. This is how I normally like to run my setup. I like to have the market up here, up and going. That's why it was looking funky. So we got about 14 minutes before the market opens. We'll see if anything else pops up on the scanners. I'm not really excited for anything that's gapping up this morning, guys. Again, I like SRRK and Tupperware and maybe DraftKings. DKNG. That looks good also. On DraftKings here, you could see that this was in a recent downtrend from 43 down to 37s. It's trying to bottom here at like this $37. We got a double bottom, and then if we zoom in, yesterday this had a sell-off, but then look at that sideways action right there, like it's trying to bottom and base out. So if this can start to U-shape around and push up over this 38, we could see a good push up to 39 possibly. Even on the 10 minute looks pretty good. Just look at that sick downtrend, just non-stop since October 5th. So all of October this has been going down. And you could see too right here the volume on the push down. The volume got really extreme right here, and this has been pushing down all right here on lighter volume, so the downtrend could be near. And then Tupperware has just been a beast also, from $22 up to $34. But I'm ready to get into it with you guys. I'm prepared to trade. I don't know if, see, the thing is with what I see with a lot of traders is they get all excited right at the market open and they have their hand on the trigger ready to trade. It's not about that. You shouldn't chase after trades. You have to let the trades come to you. Let the setups come to you. So at the market open, I'm sitting back. I'm waiting to see what pops up and what sets up. Tupperware, I think we get a good pop at the open up to 33. This has a nice like descending wedge that it's forming. You could draw a line right on the 10 minute. Just like that. So if this falls below that 32, the next level is going to be like 31.50. And if it falls below that, goodbye. All the futures are red this morning too. Keep that in mind, guys. So with the SPY, real quickly, this is just a 3-minute chart. I'd look for this 330s to hold up. This was in a range bound for a while. Right here. Back and forth, back and forth. It finally got above it. Now it's pulling back down to it. I'd look for this to hold as support and bounce off of this today. BLRX might get up and going, but like I've mentioned earlier, I'm not really too excited for BLRX. There's just a lot of overhead resistance on it. You're going to have resistance like every 10 cents. BLRX. So you're going to have resistance 220, 250, 260, 270. I'm not interested in a stock where it's going to have resistance every 10 cents. Plus it's a higher float stock at like 20 million. So you're going to need a lot of volume to get that going. Pola popped off yesterday. It'll probably fade out. This thing was a grinder yesterday. From 290, tops out at 360, pulls back down to 3, ramps up to almost $4 into the close. A lot of good scalping opportunities yesterday on Pola. And just playing off of mental levels. $3 up to 350. Couple good scalps. Comes back down to 3. Buy again. Ramps into the close. Look at all that volume that came into it at the end of the day. I'm sorry, you guys are going to hear me be clearing my throat a lot. I apologize again. I'm not used to talking non-stop for a couple hours. Alright, we got 5 minutes to the opening bell. Sit back, let the trades come to you. No need to go after chasing after trades. The first 10 to 15 minutes the market opens, you just want to chill. Let the stocks pick a direction, and then majority of the time when a stock picks a direction, it's going to continue going in that direction. So there's really no point in, gambling the way I look at it. And it's so risky. You could see stocks drop really, really hard the first 10 minutes. It could really hurt your account and your confidence. I also have other charts up also. I'll show you guys real quick. I have a big 40-inch monitor above my head, and this is what's above my head. So 9 other charts I'm looking at every day. I try to pick out what stocks I want to try to keep an eye on, put them up above my head, and all I do is sit back, keep glancing at all these charts, see what pops up on the scanners, and see what sets up. I let setups come to me. It's always good to have multiple charts up. But then this is my main setup right here, what you guys are looking at. And don't worry, I'll let you guys know if I trade anything. For those of you on YouTube, I'm not really paying attention to the comments. I have the browser actually closed. I'm just streaming to you guys. My main focus is the Discord. But if you're on YouTube watching, thanks for joining, watching, appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to join the Discord, there's a link down in the description below. And then remember guys, right here on the right side, I have a Momo low float scanner right here. So keep an eye on this thing. I could probably move this for you. And then this is the S&P 500 chart right here. I always want to try to get it, see where the market sentiment is, the overall market. Because remember, 3 out of 4 stocks follow the overall market. If I'm trying to go after a breakout and the S&P 500's crashing, you know, I'm setting myself up for a disaster. Walking right into it. SRRK yesterday though, in the morning, this had a really nice squeeze right here from 42 up to 46.50. $4.50 spike, one candle. Boom, right there. That was awesome. All right, we got markets opening right now. Let's get into it. Got BLRX hitting the scan. If that gets up and going up over 3, then maybe I'll take a look at it. But right now, I really don't care for it. And that's the thing as a trader. You don't have to trade what everybody else is trading. You trade whatever you want, whatever catches your eye. I'm also watching NKLA also for that $20 push. Is today going to be the day that SRRK cracks and falls down? Or is SRRK going to keep going? NKLA getting a nice push so far up to 20. EQ's popping off also. So far, it needs to break over that 725 and get up to 750s. Just watching. Nothing really catching my eye yet, guys. I want stocks to prove to me that they're tradable. Yeah, PLT gap up. Look at that slam down from 23.50 to 21 on light volume too. Donkey Kong right off of 37 up 37.40s running up to 38. Yeah, so far EQ holding that $7 area. It'll pop right up to 775s. That's the trigger level for it, for a potential squeeze. Needs to hold that 7 though. Donkey Kong, look at that. And you know what's great about that? Remember how I said it was starting a baseline here at that 37.40? And if we zoom in, look at that bottom wick. Pay attention to the details, guys. That bottom wick, there's a buyer there right at 37.50. And then from 37.50 ramps up over 38. Very nice. SRRK is getting a nice pullback here. Could get a nice snap up. From 41.50s. SRRK. I want to keep an eye on this for a second. Just picked up 2,000 shares of SRRK. Filled at 42.20. And I sold it. $1,400. That's what I'm talking about right there, guys. Nice shimmy down pullback right there. Gets its move up to 42. Surges up to up over 43. Bought 2,000 shares. Made $1,400. Just like that. It's all about letting the trades come to you guys. And I'm trading using Thinkorswim. I like to call that the shimmy down or shuffle down. When I see a stock at the market open, like get that shuffle, pull back down like that, that's when you'll see a nice snap up to the upside. at 42.20, out at the break of 43. Real quick, in and out. I'm a day trader. I buy and sell. I don't hold and hope. Move on to the next one. Tupperware, let that keep setting up. It's still setting up a baseline. SRRK needs to get up and above that $44. This thing could really move, guys. Be careful if you trade it. If it gets up and above that 44, runs up to 46, 47.50s, we could, if it gets in that area, we could see $50 today. SRRK has been the top performer all week. Donkey Kong getting a nice push up over 38 right now. Take a look at Tupperware real quick. Setting up a decent wedge. Needs to hold up at that 31.75. Pushes up over 32.50. We could see a good push up to 33 and 33.50. So like a 50-cent range I'm seeing on it. But right now it's getting a good push on that 10-minute up out of this wedge. See what I'm saying with BLRX? Up to 230s, now it's fading off down to that $2. But volume is retracing as it's pulling down to that $2. That's a good sign. When you see a stock pulling back on light volume and decreasing volume, that's showing strength. Sellers are not in control. Yeah, Donkey Kong's looking pretty good. I call it Donkey Kong. DraftKings. I'm sorry. I think everybody calls it Donkey Kong. It's just because of the ticker name. I use Street Smart Edge for my charts. I use Dash Trader for my level 2 and times and sales. I trade on Dash Trader, and I also trade with Thinkorswim. I don't day trade with Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab is not a day trading broker. They're more of like a swing trading, long-term investment broker. But I love their charts. Their charts are amazing. EQ starting to crack. I don't see EQ doing too much of anything. Donkey Kong crashed down. Market's starting to sell off right now. It's pushing lower right here with the SPY. You see that? That's why I have the SPY up and in front of my face so I can see the market sentiment. 3 out of 4 stocks follow the overall market. And I have my momentum scanner up, but I'm not much of a momentum trader. I pretty much play stocks that been in play for days and look for bounces. That's where I'm really strong at. Yeah, Tupperware's looking pretty good, guys. Looking for a nice push up over 33. up over 33. Like I said, 33.50 and then 34. Let it continue to set up. It's got light volume on the day so far at 303,000. And that's another thing to keep in mind, guys. It's Friday. Friday, every second we lose more and more volume. Fridays, you want to make that money and get out. Get out of the market. Don't hang around on Fridays. Traders call it a week. They start their weekend. The big money sells their position for the week. They make or lose money, and they go home and go to their private island or enjoy the time with their family. SRRK holding up at that 42 level. It's when it's selling off like that, right at that 42, it's not getting a really strong bounce. It's not really showing strength. So if you got the SPY going lower, like it is right here, you'd be wanting to keep an eye on UVXY for a push from 21 to 2150. We got the election coming up. Markets have been really, really choppy, up and down. People don't like indecision. So we got the SPY pushing down even lower. And if you have the UVXY up, you can see the UVXY pushing and spiking higher as the SPY is dropping. $327 is like support on it. Tupperware is still hanging around. If it falls below that 32, I'd cut it. But Tupperware is looking pretty good for a push up over 33, as long as it holds this 32. You can see Tupperware pushed up out of this wedge. Now it's pulling back, and that wedge at 32 is holding as support. That's what you want to be looking for. You can see nothing's really going off on the momentum scanner. Market's pushing lower. SRRK just hanging out at that $42. EQ still holding up at that 7. Getting its push up to 730s. But this has got to do work for me to take a trade on it. It needs to get up and above 750s and work its way up to 8 for me to even want to trade it. To me, down here, it's still randomness. It doesn't know which way it wants to go. It's a 50-50. And so far, I've only taken one trade so far, really quickly on SRRK. Now, as we get deeper into the Friday, now we're almost going on 10 o'clock. I want to protect that profit that I've made. I don't want to give it back. So if I do trade, it'll be a little bit smaller, protecting my profits. SRRK broke down below 42. That 41.40 level, that's going to be the big area for it. Tupperware still holding up. Telling you guys, it's a pretty good setup. Tupperware. Right now, it's a good risk versus reward. I just picked up 1,000 shares of Tupperware, so I'm risking 25 cents. If it falls below 32, I'm out of it. I'll cut it for a loss. I want to sell at that break of 33. I'm risking 25 cents to make 75 cents. That's a pretty good risk versus reward. I only picked up 1,000 shares of Tupperware. So let's see if we get that push up over 33. That's where I'd be wanting to sell it up over 33 for just a quick scalp opportunity. Falls below 32, cut it. But keeping in mind too, when you're looking at a 1-minute chart, always keep in the back of your mind the big picture. So I'm looking at the 10-minute, that 32 level. That's where I'm getting that support at on it. Wow, UVXY is really taking off. I'm sitting and waiting for Tupperware. I have 1,000 shares of Tupperware. Looking for that push up over 33. Let's see if we can get it. It's looking pretty good. EQ still basing out at that $7. If you wanted, put your risk below that 7 and jump in on EQ. Look at that curve up right there, right at 690s. But the thing with EQ, you're going to have to put your stop just below 670s. A new low on it. So you see Tupperware on the 10-minute in this wedge, it popped out of it, it pulled back, and then that top trend line is holding as support. Now it's bouncing off of that and heading up to that mental 33 level. Let's see if we get that push. Here's 32.82. If it falls down below 32, I'll cut it. EQ still in limbo, can't even get past 750. Here goes Tupperware. Up over 33, pops up to 33.10. There we go. Boom! That's what I'm talking about. I sold Tupperware. Let me pull it over for you guys. Made $585 on Tupperware. Now as it's pushing up to $325. I told you guys Tupperware looked pretty good. So I'm 2 for 2 on the day. Made $585 on Tupperware and made $1,400 on SRRK, up almost $2,000 on the day. And you see how I just let these trades come to me? I'm not trading the hot stock or the popular stocks that everybody's talking about. I'm trading what I want to trade. That's the important thing. Trade what you want to trade. So awesome morning so far. 2 for 2 on the day, $2,000. Where are you going to go and work where you make $2,000 in what? A half an hour? Most people have to work a couple of weeks to make that. This is why you study your butt off. You put that work in, you grind, you study, and you get rewarded. Good move on Tupperware. Good move. And it's just all based off of the big picture, that 10-minute chart. Broke up and above it, pulled back. That trend line that was holding as resistance held as support. That bottom wick, there's a buyer there. Pushes up. Looks like we got MARPS surging up. Super low float at 1.6 million. Let's see why this stock's up. There's no news on it, so it's a pump and dump. Some chat room's pumping this. You just be careful with these pump and dumps, guys. Don't be that person that gets dumped on. That's a notorious move in the stock market. And then I also think to keep in mind with these pump and dumps, if you see the stock doesn't have news and the stock's running up like this, as it is, the SEC could halt it, and then they could do a T12 halt, and the stock could be halted for days, weeks, months, because the company or the SEC will ask the company, you don't have news out, why is your stock price running up? They'll investigate it. That's just the risk that you got to keep in the back of your mind as a trader if you're trading pump and dumps. The SEC loves halting stocks on the American Stock Exchange. They love halting those. BLRX still popping off of that $2. So good scalping opportunities for BLRX if you were interested in that. Just buying at a basic mental $2 level, selling into the pops. Breaks below $2, cut it. You gotta have that discipline to cut your losers. Don't hold and hope or add on to your positions. That's how things can get out of hand and worse. Yeah, MARPS is really ripping up right now. But it could do that. I don't really care for this stock. Protect those profits. If you've made money right now or this morning, sit back. Relax. Just observe the market. No need to get greedy, and then give away all that hard work in one trade. Let the stock run up, do what it's got to do. There's no news really going on this stock, and some chat room out there is pumping it up. Might be Warrior Trading or something. SRRK starting to break down. This is what's going to happen with SRRK. It's set up like this wedge-like thing here at 42, like that. It fell down below that 42 now, so now 42 is going to act as resistance. 41 support from previous chart history. 40 is support. We got the previous day's close here at 40.50, so it's got a couple more levels to get through before it'll eventually crack. So this isn't a short just yet. The stock chart is not broken. Keep in mind the big picture. This is a 10-minute. We got our move up right here. And now it's starting to go sideways, yeah. But you don't know. This stock could be consolidating before its next leg up. So if you're short biased, don't try picking a top. Let the stock do its thing. The chart will prove to you when it's ready to be shorted. Another good question is it easy to borrow on Thinkorswim still? Yep. SRRK is easy to borrow on Thinkorswim. Did they halt? Yeah, they halted it. Another good setup here on TCDA. Nice little wedge on it. Right there. So right at that mental $4.50. You see how it was all resistance right here? It finally popped up above it with the increased volume. Then when it pulls back, that old resistance, all right here, is holding as support. And look at all those wicks on the candles at the bottom. There's a buyer there. I'm telling you guys, there's so much hints in candlesticks. Pay attention to the details. Candlesticks, volume, multiple time frames. The answer is always in the volume. Put your risk down below 450s, down to 425. If it breaks 425, cut it for a loss. Stock from 450 ramps up to this $5. Now I see a lot of people too, a big mistake that they do, and this is a good example with TCDA. At that mental 450 level, they'll put their stop 10 cents down at 440. You got to give a stock room to move. And if you put a stop in like that, the market maker can see that. And you got to think a market maker gets paid per transaction. So he's going to rip it down, take everybody's stop out, and then rip it right back up. And then it's an emotional driven game. Remember that. So if you were in on this stock and the stock ripped down, took your stop out, and then they rip it right back up, that's going to trigger your emotions. You're going to chase after it, rebuy in. Now that market maker just got over on you twice. He made money when he took you out, and he made money with your FOMO, fear of missing out, chasing after the play. Market makers get paid like a penny per share. So their goal is to get as many shares on a stock as possible, volume. So I don't use physical stop losses. I use mental stop losses. And if it comes down to my stop, I cut it. Plain and simple, I cut it. If you guys want to chat, head on over into the Friday chat. Type out any questions that you have or whatnot. Hopefully you guys made some money this morning. We're 2 for 2 for the day. I'm going to see if anything else comes to me or pops up, but I'm up almost $2,000 on the day. Trading SRRK for $1,400 and Tupperware for $500. Nice, good push. Look at Tupperware now, pushing up towards $34. And Tupperware, there's probably not even extreme volume on it. It hasn't even hit 1 million in volume yet. And look that's a beautiful setup on Tupperware compared to something like EQ, where it's still in limbo. It doesn't know what it wants to do. How much does EQ have? Almost 12 million in volume. So look at the difference. You have a stock that has 12 million in volume and it's in limbo. It still doesn't know what it wants to do. And then you got a stock like Tupperware. It hasn't even hit 1 million in volume and it's got a beautiful setup and it's been non-stop. Just goes to show you don't have to trade what everybody else is looking at and trading. There's opportunity everywhere in the stock market. A good breakout right here on Tupperware. You got your ascending wedge up to that 33 mental level. If it broke below that 32, it was over. Pushed up over 33, pulls back down. Old resistance is now holding as support. And look at that volume pickup on it. And from 33, off she went. We traded it from right here to up here. So after it topped out, could have possibly got back in for another entry right there. Put your stop down below 32.75 if it breaks below that, and ride it up to that 34 level. If you're buying it up here at 34, it's too late. I'll tell you right now, high of day breakouts fail majority of the time. The quicker you can identify and spot an opportunity on a stock, the better. If you're trying to buy it up here at 34, it's way too late. You're not realizing that this stock just moved up $2 from 32 to 34. All this. I've been talking about BLRX all morning. I'm not really interested in BLRX. I'm not interested in a stock that's moving 10 cents. To make good money on it, I gotta buy 10,000 shares. It very well could go, but like I said all morning, it has so much overhead resistance on it. It's got resistance at 240, 250, 260, 270. There was good scalping opportunities on it off of $2, yeah. But I like paying attention and trading stocks that have range. Stocks like SRRK that are moving dollars at a time. See, I bought 2,000 shares of SRRK, made $1,400. And a stock like Tupperware, it's got a range of 50 cents to $1. I bought 1,000 shares and made almost $600. So if you were to buy 1,000 shares of that BLRX, it moves 10 cents. That's $100. That's not worth my time. That's the way I look at it. And it's just not my style. I don't like buying 10,000, 20,000 shares of a small cap $2 stock. For it to move 10, 15 cents. But if you were to get in on BLRX on that $2, it's looking good. Let it run. Let it be worth your time. And then we forgot all about DKNG. DraftKings. Had a good spike up to 38, but from 38 fell right down. It's just getting destroyed. One quick opportunity on it. That was it. And I hope you guys could see what I meant here. From yesterday, it had this baseline all right here, and it opened up and it got a quick spike, and it couldn't get above that 38.50s, and it fell right back down and right through it. It's pushing down on light volume though. Wow, MARPS, good push up to almost $5. Just be careful with MARPS if you're trading it. Those pump and dumps can be dangerous. NKLA is just getting destroyed. Look at that. Got your consolidation period, and it's continued to move down. Would have been a nice short. Tupperware pushing up over 34 to 34.20. Tupperware has just been a producer the past 3 days. Look at that. So what'd you guys trade today? In the Friday chat, let me know what you guys traded. Did you guys make money? Did you lose money? KKP says, what things tell you that a stock like TUP is beginning to downtrend when you're trading in real time? Looking at the bigger picture, is it making lower highs and lower lows? No, not really. It's continued to trend up. It's set up a nice wedge. Like yesterday. Had that big move up from 29 up to almost 34. And look at it, it all topped out. Paying attention to the details. It topped out right here, and right here. And after it topped out at these two levels, look at the increased volume. And on that third time it topped out, look at the volume down below. Right there. It did it on light volume. So volume exhausted itself all morning right here. And now volume was starting to fade out. And that's when the downtrend took place. And it just got a nice retracement back down. When a stock tops out like that, from the most recent low, or what I like to do from the previous day's close, just draw a Fibonacci retracement up to the high and let the stock trend down. And it came all the way down, almost all the way to the 50% retracement here at 31.50. And also draw a trend all right here. All the lower highs and all of the lower lows. It's in a channel. And then once the stock pushes up over that trend line resistance, let it push over it, let it pull back, hold as support, and off it went. That's the type of stuff that I look for. I mean, there's all different types of ways you can look at charts. And the only way you're going to get better is putting in that screen time, breaking down charts every day. The better you'll get. If you break down charts every day, this is what you should do. Every day at the end of the trading day, go through all of the top percentage gainers and all of the top percentage losers. Break down the charts, candle by candle. Why did the chart and the stock move the way it did? Break it down. What's the flow? What was the volume? What was the catalyst? What sector is it in? You do that every single day. What is it, 362 days in a year? 300 days you do that out of the year for an hour a day, you'll get better and better. It's the 10,000 hour rule. I think I'm just about done trading, that is, but I'll bring this over to show you guys. This is all the trades that I took today, and I told you guys when I was trading it, when I was in it. I traded Tupperware, made 600 bucks. Traded SRRK, made 1,400. Only 2 trades, $2,000. I'm happy. I'll take it. A grand, a couple grand a day will keep the day job away. And then protect those profits. If you're up in profit, lower your size. Protect those profits. Look at other trades as maybe wallet patterns. I'm protecting what I've made in the morning. So if I do trade now, it may be like 500 shares or something to make a couple $100, maybe, just to top off the day. That's if I see a good opportunity present itself. Now with MARPS, it's pushing up, and it's pushing up on high volume. It could break through that $5. Let me see that daily chart. Something to keep in mind with stocks like this. If you look at the daily chart, look at all those upper wicks. That's telling me that this stock loves to spike and run, but it also doesn't like to hold its gains. So this stock's showing me the past 2 times it likes to spike really huge, but it gives pretty much half of what it spikes back. So when I see that, other traders see that, and they think the same thing. Consider yourself a detective. You're putting the pieces together to tell the story. 450 should hold as support, because that's where the stock closed. Right here. So 450 fails, it's over. Good push. Volume on the day, 6.5 million. In a stock like MARPS, you do not want to be market ordering in and market ordering out. That's how you get screwed. Don't get greedy, put limit order sells at good mental levels. Always lock in that profit. Just look at that ramp in volume, even on the 3-minute right there. That's what you want to see on a good breakout. If this stock was pushing up on light volume, I'd be cautious, really, really cautious. %62 of the stocks right now in the market are red. 38% are green. The SPY's pushing lower. The SPY's really starting to pick up momentum now and push. And when you see the stock market crash the way it is right now, that's when you can see a lot of small cap stocks explode and take off to the upside. Small caps love getting very, very volatile when the market crashes. SRRK starting to get near that point of no return. BLRX, it's got a big wedge forming on it. That $2, that's the level. If it breaks over 235, it'll pop to 240, 250. And one thing I want to call out with these wedge patterns, if you find yourself in a position and the stock's in a wedge like this, a long consolidation wedge, a trade like this is 50-50. 50% it could fail and slam down. The other 50% it could work and spike up. It's a 50-50 trade. I try not to be in trades when a pattern's setting up like this, because that slam down, that death candle, could really, really hurt you. This bad boy, that could really, really hurt you. The death candle. NKLA still pushing lower and lower and lower. Pola, just like I said, it'll probably fade off today. Stocks that were in small cap land, a stock could be hot one day. That's all it'll do. And then the rest of the time it'll fade off. Barely ever do you ever see small caps continue. And then EQ faded off. It broke through that $7. People lost interest in it, and it'll probably fade off the rest of the day. I said EQ, for it to get my interest, it needs to get up above that $7.50 up to $8 for me to think about even trading it. I want stocks to prove to me that they're strong. Let them first prove to me they're strong, and then stocks will continue going in that direction once they choose it. Majority of the time. MARPS looks good, but it moved up a lot already. You gotta think, right now it's up 113% on the day with no news. You know, the longer that this stock keeps going and higher it goes, the more riskier it gets. I'm not much of a fan of trading stocks that don't have no news and a pump and dump. Like I've mentioned earlier, you gotta consider the risk. I've been doing this for 5 years. I cannot tell you guys how many halts and T12 halts I've seen and just kill accounts. It's not worth it. Weeks, months worth of work, one trade, destroy it. Nah, no thanks. You want that mindset of, I want to be here tomorrow. If you keep that mindset of, I want to be here and trade tomorrow, you know, your trading account's precious. Every single trade, you know, you have to go into it with caution and look for the best A+ setups. And just because we're traders doesn't mean we have to trade every single day. Sometimes no trade is a good trade. Seeing a good example here with Tupperware. This was in an uptrend. Just simply connect all the higher lows, and then once that, as the stock kept pushing up, everybody kept moving their stop up as the stock pushed up. And then once that stock finally broke trend, everybody's stop got taken out, which flushed the stock down. And then the stock bounced at that VWAP and grinded all the way up to the area it flushed from. And then now flushed again. Wow, the SPY's really getting destroyed right now. You can start to see some panic potentially come in here on the SPY if this downtrend keeps going like it is. Volume's starting to increase on it with every push down. Sellers are in control, pushing the stock down. Oh yeah, things could get pretty ugly here. SPY could push down to 321. That's like the next big level I see. $322 is the next major level. But it'll probably pop back up to 327 and push back down even lower. SRRK still in its downtrend down. This will have a good bounce on it, potentially up to 42 bucks. Like I said, from the top, draw that trend line. From the high on that wick, all the way down right there. If this stock perks up and it's at that mental $40 level and pushes through that 40, it'll pop to 40.50, pull back, and shoot up to 41, 41.50. That's where I could see it hitting 41.50 if it breaks up over this trend line right here. I love playing these types of trend line resistant break type plays. Yeah, MARPS, the higher it gets, like I said, the riskier it gets. It's starting to pull back right now. I'd wait to see if this volume retraces with this pullback. So you see here on the 1 minute, as the stock was pushing up all right here, look at the volume. A steady increase on it as the stock kept pushing up. Now that the stock topped out, what I'd want to see is on the pullback down, I want to see a retracement in volume. If I don't see a retracement in volume, and if I see like high volume on the pullback, or a steady, consistent, like volumes just keeps, what's the word I'm trying to say? A consistent level of volume, like let's say 500K of volume. It's just consistent as it pulls back. That's uncertainty. I don't really want that. Oh, it looks like BLRX got its push finally. Right off of that $2, you could be selling right now at this 240, 250 level for a 50-cent profit. It's a nice textbook pattern breakout. This is what I'm talking about right here. Stock pushed up over it. Now I'd look for it to pull back down. 225 to hold as support for its move up even higher. See, this is what I'm talking about right here with MARPS, the pullback. Look at how much volume it's pulling back. It's pulling back on pretty high volume. I'm not seeing a decrease in volume as it's pulling back. SRRK, it's trying to push up over that 40. Watch, it'll happen really, really fast. It'll push up over that 40, up to 40.50 in a blink of an eye, if it goes. Risking almost, what, 75 cents if you were to play the stock, though. You got to think of stuff like that. So you got to make it, if you're going to risk 75 cents, the reward better be pretty good. So what, 41.50? So I'm risking 75 cents to make $1.50. That's a 2-to-1 risk versus reward. Risking 75 cents to make $1.50. That's not really worth it. Remember, you want risk versus reward to be at least 3-to-1 or higher. If you're strict on your risk versus reward setups, you could have a string of losses. Let's say 5. You have 5 straight losses in a row. But you stuck with your strict risk versus reward of 3-to-1 or higher. Then you have a winner that's 4-to-1 and you won it. So one winner just erased 3 to 4 of your losses. That's what it's all about. Proper risk management. We'll probably stream for about another 20 minutes and we'll call it a day. Let's see what other setups we got going on. MARPS still pushing up. Too risky for me though. I want to protect my profits. Not really even interested in it. TUP starting to push through that VWAP and fading off. It had a good run. From 31.50s all the way up to 34.25. If you traded Tupperware with me and made some money, awesome. DraftKings fading out. SRRK slowly but surely fading out. A lot of my stocks that I've had on watch are just slowly fading because the market keeps pushing lower and lower. 69% of stocks right now are red in the market right here. 31% are green. So with that in mind, if you're trying to buy high of day breakouts, look at the statistics. 69% of the stocks. So 3 out of 4 stocks right now in the market are red. And you're trying to buy a high of day breakout. That's got fail written all over it. But stock market crashes like this, for long-term investors, yeah, it sucks. But as for day traders, we thrive off of market crashes like this because this is what brings volatility into the markets. See what I'm saying? MARPS, one moment it's at 575, now it's down to 468, a dollar. Dollar drop just like that. Just be cautious. Look at what the chart's telling you. Look at the upper wicks here on the 3-minute. Yeah, you got these bottom wicks. So right now it's telling us indecision, up and down. Just quick opportunities. If it falls below 450, it's over with. Man, SRRK would have been a killer short. Nice slow bleed from 42 down to 39. $3 downside move. What else we got going on? Heard someone say MGI way earlier. See, look at the volume on this. All that volume pickup right here as the stock spiked all the way up. And then it flushed down real quickly. It flushed down. I don't see no volume retracement on it. It get flushed down and then it grinded all the way back up to the high. You can see how it pushed up right there. And now volume's been fading out on it. Is it MGI related to Bitcoin? Like those cryptocurrencies? I want to say yeah. Okay, it looks like MGI is an earnings winner. MoneyGram, Q3 results beat street estimates by 10 cents. Good move on MGI, but the float is at 62 million. I don't like trading stocks with a high float like that. And you gotta think too, a stock like this, it's gapping up to new highs from a year ago. It's gapping up to a new high. So a new 52-week high. You gotta think of all the swing traders. Everybody that bought here, accumulated all down here, been buying all up in here. Now you're getting a gap up. Everybody who's all bought all in this area, they're going to want to take profits. So you might see a quick morning spike and then the stock fade off the rest of the day. Yeah, just be cautious with MARPS. Super low float stock at 1.6 million. Good move from 250 up to 550 though. Very nice. Other than that, I'm not really seeing too much, guys. EQ fading off. People gave up on it. DCDA had a good dollar push today. It's got a big gap to fill on it. Tri-Citia. Float 48 million. It's a pharmaceutical. I would never swing a pharmaceutical stock. Never. But there's a good gap to fill potentially on this. All the way up to 824. It'll probably be a slow grind all the way up to that bad boy. But gap to fill plays are really popular in the stock market. We almost have a good example right here with it. From this level right here, stock gap down to this level, continued to sell off, and you could see the stock grinded all the way up, and it almost filled that gap right here, but it fell just short of it, and it fell right back down. But yeah, if you're a swing trader and you got gap down plays like that, always add them to your list for potential gap fills in the future. And then BLRX, just like what I said, when it broke out from the wedge, I look for it to pull back down to that 225. It pushes right back up. It's just textbook pattern. Very textbook. Wedge, pushes up, pulls back down to the area it broke out from. Off we go. But this is pushing up on late volume, guys. Just keep that in mind. You see how right here the stock was pushing up with that increased volume? Now it's pushing up to those same highs right here and to new high on lighter volume. You got to keep mind of that. You guys probably heard me in this live stream today refer to volume so many times, because volume is so important. Volume is the key to all. SRRK trying to push up through that trend line. Yeah, ACHC. Got a nice wedge forming on it. Oh, look at the daily too. It's pushing up to new highs. So up over 35. This will be hitting all new highs, multi-year highs. It hasn't been up and above 35 since 2019 and 2018. Look at the weekly. See how I switched over to the weekly real quick? And my moving averages, that red line, that 200-day moving average on the weekly is right at $35. So that's going to be a wall for this stock. Then I switch over to the monthly. Look at the monthly. That 50-day moving average, the blue line, is right at $35. So that's why I have this separated. I have my own chart with the daily, weekly, and monthly with my moving averages, so I can quickly just switch to them and identify and see what overhead resistance could be ahead. SRRK, trying to get a good push. Previous day close 40.50, pushes up over 40.50. It'll push up to 41, 41.50. But the risk right now is it's too high up right now to get in on something like this. If you want to compulsively buy something, always check yourself, monitor your thoughts, look back real quick. The stock on the 1 minute just had 1, 2, 3, 4 straight green candles. Why are you going to buy at a mental $40 thinking it's going to push over it? And this just had 4 straight green candles. If anything, I'd look for it to pull back down to this 39.50s, 39.25 for an entry on it. Let this get a pullback. I might get one more trade right here. Let me bring it up. I'll let you guys know if I get in on this. I wanted a little bit more of a pullback on it, down to that 39.50s. I put a limit buy at 39.50 for 500 shares, but it might dip down to it. It won't. It's gonna go. But I'm not gonna chase after it. Can't always get what you want. That little micro pullback down to 39.75 was it for it, but you gotta think of the risk. This could have easily slammed down to 39. I'm still waiting to see if SRRK will get that pullback down to 39.50s. I took my limit order off. Let's see what it does right here. I'm not in on this or anything. I'm not buying yet. The closer to 39, the better. I put a limit buy in at 39. Only 500 shares. Maybe it'll get a bottom wick down to it. But what I like with these limit orders when I'm looking to buy, for it to dip down quickly, fill me, and then pop up 50 cents, and just like that I'm up 50 cents. Let the setups come to you. And then that way, if I get filled at 39 and it dips down below that trend line, I can cut it for a very, very, very small loss. Because that trend line is where I'm going to base my risk. If I get filled on it. I don't know if I will. I still have my order sitting out there at 39. And I just took it off. Not really feeling it. We're about to be it's just after 11 now on a Friday. So it's just, like I said earlier today, the later we get in on a Friday, the more volume we lose. Protect those profits. Don't stick around and give back your hard-earned money. Protect it. Wow, DKNG had a sick pullback. Just straight fade. This could have a really nice bounce on it. once again, draw that trend line. If it pushes up over that trend line, good scalping opportunity for that snap up. But look at the 10-minute on this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight 10-minute candles. Get a good pop on this, up over 36. To where the VWAP is. About right here. And don't try to bottom pick on something like this, DraftKings. And just to show you guys real quickly, I haven't taken any more trades. I've only taken the 2. Remember, we're traders. We wait for opportunities to come to us. We don't chase after stuff. So DraftKings looking like it's trying to get this little micro pullback for that push up over that trend line right there. Let's see if it'll happen. I still have SRRK up too. It's hanging around just below that $40. Sick fade off on DraftKings. Wow. I just picked up 500 shares of DraftKings. If it drops to a new low, I'll cut it for a loss. I'm gonna risk 25 cents on it to potentially make 75 cents. Up over 36 is where I'm looking to sell it. See if we get that good surge on it for a good bounce. This will probably be the last trade of the day too. Let's see if we can go 3 for 3. Let's go DraftKings. You can see I only bought 500 shares too. I'm protecting my profits on the day. All this is just a little wallet pattern. That's it. let's see, 30, 35.24. So this is how I have it right here. I have an OCO order in. Other cancels other. So if this drops down to 35.10, it'll cut it for a loss. My profit target is at 36.15 just for maybe a quick scalp. Maybe even 36, I'll put it there. That's if it works out. It may not even work, but I think it's worth it. DraftKings is a real choppy type of stock too. Very, very choppy. If you zoom out on this, you know, the trend up right there, pushes down. Look at that bottom wick, then pops up, back down, and then trends up. I traded this a couple weeks ago, DraftKings, and I got stopped out, and then the stock ran up like $2. It was really irritating. So let's see if this will work. And the Friday, 3 for 3. Let's go. Last trade of the day. Let's go. DraftKings, let's go. Just get that big surge candle up. Let's get it. Let it go. Boom. In the past, I haven't had good luck with DraftKings. Let's see if that luck will change around. $35.72. SRRK still just hovering right below that $40 too. DraftKings pushing up 35.85. $35.85. Let's hit that 36. Come on, baby. And this is just a no sweat trade. We only have 500 shares of it. Just a little wallet pattern. That's it. You can see here on the 10-minute, it's pushing right up to that yellow line, the 13 or 8 EMA. Wow, BLRX really taking off now, huh? Off she goes. Pretty textbook pattern play on BLRX. But that's alright. I don't care that BLRX took off and went like it did. I had other plays and opportunities that I thought were better. What, we're approaching 2 hours into this live stream. And thanks for the subscription, Harris. Approaching 2 hours into this live stream, and BLRX only pushed up $1. Whoop-de-doo. I'm still holding DraftKings for that push up to 36. If it doesn't work, oh well. It's only 500 shares. Just looking to go 3 for 3 on the day. Let's end it with a bang. Yeah, just look at that volume ramp up on BLRX. We're all right here on the 3-minute. It's a nice, steady, slow grind all the way up. 20 million float. That's why I don't like really playing those low price stocks like that. Like under $2, they're like death grinds. They don't really move much. Stocks up on over $5, that's when you can see them start to have range. DraftKings popped all the way up to $35.85, 15 cents short from where I wanted to take profit. I'll just let it sit and see what it does. I'll move my stop up just to be safe up to 39.30 or 35.39.